Hi, it's Grasman. You may know me from my rap battles, you may not. And today I'm doing something a little different, right? I'm gonna be doing a review for Night 5, the Five Nights at Freddy's fan film by X Blue. I've been obsessed with this movie ever since it first came out, and I've been wanting to make a video about it forever, so I decided to finally, write a script. And this video has been in the making for basically since I first watched it. And I apologize if it's all over the place, because this is my first movie review or analysis, and I don't know how to format these things at all, so I just wrote a bunch of notes of stuff I just wanted to talk about. And so yeah, let's begin. Let's jump in. I really like the cold opening for this movie, and I think it's a really good way to hook a viewer in. And first time watching it, I was like, oh damn, they know their FNAF lore. They know that this dude is Mike Afton.
My name is Michael Afton,
William's son, so I'm in for a treat, as a FNAF fan. And the payoff later is also really cool. The news broadcast intro is a really fitting way to start a FNAF movie. Of course it drags on and it's kind of cheesy, but there's really no other good way to give context to the very confusing and long FNAF lore. So I just think it's a cool idea, and they executed it pretty well. And I like how they set up a robbery that happened at Freddy's, where a man in a spring Bonnie costume, which of course we know is William, hijacked the place or whatever.
A week ago, with the apparent burglary. If we're to believe the images captured from a nearby business's security camera, at approximately 4:02 a.m. the infiltrator broke in while wearing what looks to be the suit of one of the mascot characters.
So that was pretty neat. That was a pretty good way to explain how he has the spring Bonnie suit. The scene with Fredbear is just so funny. I can't take that mask seriously, but I get it, right? Speaking from experience, these masks are pretty hard to make, so it's really impressive how they made all 5 animatronics plus 3 more, which is really impressive here for such a small team, small YouTube channel, which you should subscribe to show support if you haven't already. I wasn't a fan of the whole Jonathan Scott plot, but it felt natural to a FNAF movie because there's not much to work with in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, It's pretty cool how they implemented, the phone guy going missing and stuff, just like how he does in the Night 4 phone call. I do think the dynamic between Mike and John is kind of weird, but I'll talk more about that later. It's a really cool detail how they explain that the missing children's incident happened in the span of a few days, which I never really thought about, but makes a lot more sense than 5 kids just randomly going missing in one day. Was no parent looking after their kid? Okay. So I really in general, I really like how the movie changes up minor details about the lore, so it makes a little more sense and it's a little more realistic while still being really close to the game's lore, almost 1-to-1, 10 out of 10 transition. I do find it a bit funny that Henry was showing Mike a news broadcast of all the tragedies and bad things that's happened to the company. What? You're trying to hire him, right?
Funky Cheese even pays better than us. Son us.
Funky Cheese line is kind of cringe, but it's a must-have reference in a FNAF movie, Later on, we learned that Mike actually used his middle name, Schmidt.
I used my middle name.
To get hired at the place, because they don't allow, the Afton family or whatever. But, wouldn't Henry know his closest friend's son, Because Henry and William were really close, in the game lore and, of course, in the movie lore. And, I'm pretty sure he would have known. I have mixed feelings about the casting in this movie in general. This isn't really how I pictured Henry Emily being but it kind of makes sense, I really dig Mike Afton though. His casting is really well, and the actor acts the part of a young man who's deeply guilty about his past really well.
Hey, those nighttime employees that come in during daytime hours, they get free pizza.
The free pizza line is just really weird. I don't understand that. Mike hugging his little brother's plushie was sad. Mike visiting his dad is a really cool idea for a scene and was executed somewhat good here. The audio and quality makes some shots unwatchable or unlistenable, but this is a small team of friends who just decided to make a FNAF movie one day, so I really don't blame them. I can get past that. But I don't know how I feel about William's casting here. I really like the characterization of him being a washed up drunk dad, but I'm not really feeling the casting here. The actor is probably the second best in the movie, so I'll give him that. I like the addition of the purple tie. Of course it's something that needed to happen here, you know. I don't think this scene was meant to be as awkward as it turned out, but it fits really well with their dynamic here. William gets so defensive.
God damn it, I'm not stupid. What does this have to do with me?
Like, damn, chill. But it makes sense for his character. Also, why is he having dinner so late? It's like 10, damn. Night 1. And the soundtrack low-key slaps, like, damn. They went pretty hard here. The outside of the pizzeria is really funny because it's literally just a warehouse. But, of course, budget and time, I don't blame them at all. Again, I'm going to be mentioning that a lot with, like, the main issues with that I have with this movie. But, yeah. The inside of the pizzeria is perfect. They got every single detail identical to FNAF 1. They even got the pizzeria's layout itself straight from the game, which based on the FNAF trailer, the FNAF movie isn't even doing that. So I really commend them for that. I really love the lighting here and how the purple lighting shines on Mike's face when he walks into the pizzeria. That's a really nice detail. This is our first good look at the animatronic costumes, and they're very mixed in quality. I think the best looking one of the four is probably Bonnie, and the worst one probably being Foxy. I don't know, it's something about like the head shape, you know, and the eyes. But Foxy's body is probably the best one. I like the unnamed character of the daytime guard, who I'll be naming Vanessa because that's what I 100% expected her name to be when I was watching it. She's like really rude for no reason, and it's so funny.
So sorry, are you okay?
It's all good, dude. I love being rudely awoken when I'm on the clock getting paid to do nothing.
The writing and acting for her character is kind of cheesy, but you can clearly see the actress was having a lot of fun with the role. And I think that the main part of the reason the acting falls flat in a lot of the scenes is the direction and script. I already talked about the set, but the office looks incredible. It genuinely looks like a one-to-one copy from the video game, from the lighting to the actual button-operated doors. I also really like how they remade the Celebrate poster from FNAF 1, but with the actual costumes from the movie. Something I really don't get, and this goes for the games as well, is why there's like random newspaper clippings like on the walls. Like, who's putting them there? Like, I don't think you'd want customers to see those, right? It's a cool detail how they explain the little amount of power that Mike has in FNAF 1 from like the robbery and stuff that Afton did, and how he cut the power lights or whatever. But there's like a really awkward pause before Vanessa tells the story, and it catches me off guard like every single time.
What? They didn't even tell you about the power?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay then.
So the cleaning montage begins, and what? They copied Willy's Wonderland? Okay, this movie's officially a 0 out of 10. Video over. I really dig the music here, like I said before. And the gag of Mike not being able to clean the scratch off the floor has a really good payoff at the end, which I did not see coming, and it caught me so off guard. And the shot of him taking out the trash was pretty artsy. I liked it. And so the night begins. The prop design for this movie is really well done, especially the game cartridges and the training tapes. I like that there's training tapes instead of like a phone guy, which makes a lot more sense, of course. Speaking of which, I found the way that they incorporated phone guy to be really neat. I always found the way that Mike gets attached to Jonathan to be weird, but I understand that they needed a plot like that to fill the movie in. Because like I said, there's not much to do with a game like FNAF 1. Justin does a great job of getting the Mike Afton vibes down, and the casting and characterization for Jonathan,
Hi, hello, I'm Jonathan,
aka Phone Guy, while being different from the game, is really fun. Nothing much else happens on night 1, but it's a cool way to introduce the settings and potential threats. The dream sequence is really neat and genuinely unsettling. Golden Freddy's probably the second best looking suit in the movie, and I'm glad they incorporated the mini games to this. And the newspaper clipping scene is really cool. Night 2. Night 2 is pretty basic as well, except that we get some cool shots of the animatronics actually moving around. The music that plays when Bonnie is outside his door is sick. A lot of the sound design in this movie in general is pretty cool. So Mike's trying to find out where the missing night guard is, right? And so he goes to like his mom's house? Like, I really don't get what Mike's trying to do here, and this scene just makes me cringe a lot. The beeline is so funny. Bro thinks she Amber Heard.
You know, when he was 9, he got stung by a bee. Even though it hurt so bad, you know, he knew that bees die usually after they sting somebody.
And then Mike confessed to accidentally killing his little brother. Like, why is this dude venting to this dude's mom? Night 3. Night 3 is nothing new, but I really dig the camera movements and cinematography at some points. And we finally get to see how the Fredbear and Spring Bonnie minigame plays out in a really cool scene that ends with Mike seeing a hallucination of Fredbear in his window. Mike seeing hallucinations of Fredbear is a really neat concept, and I think it should have been explored a little more, but it has a really good payoff at the end. The scene where Mike gets the phone call is really cool, especially when you first hear it ringing. It just gave me chills, you know?
Hello?
And I really like the twist on how instead of Golden Freddy saying it, it's the phone guy. The power going out on him and being saved last minute is something that is bound to happen in any FNAF fan film. I do think that the Foxy sniffing scene is really funny. And like, did Foxy just leave the news article for Mike there? Or is it like a supernatural thing? Either way, it's pretty weird. We get another pretty cool William Mike scene, which I really dig in this. And the Terminator line is so iconic.
Employees or customers.
What is this? The goddamn Terminator?
Mike's starting to catch on. The Golden Freddy jump scare just caught me way off guard the first time, but it's a really cool reference to the FNAF 2 minigames. Mike researching Freddy's is just really funny to me. I don't know why. He's just like circling a bunch of stuff on the newspaper. I don't know.
You're always my favorite.
I like that this movie acknowledges Mike's favorite animatronic being Foxy, like referencing how he wore the Foxy mask in FNAF 4. That's a really cool thing, and I hope it actually happens in the real FNAF movie. The scene after, where Mike goes into Freddy's at daytime, can be pretty cringy at scenes. Triple bear sweep though.
I don't know. Sounds like you need to spend some more time outside.
And I like how no one takes Mike seriously. It's just so funny how he gets bullied. Night 4. Alright. Mike is just like sick of not understanding what's going on, so he like talks to the animatronics and he looks like a doofus. I don't know, it's pretty funny. The training tape for Night 4 being completely useless is so funny. A lot of the comedy in this movie lands for me. And hearing the audio of Phone Guy getting stuffed is actually really terrifying for me. Phone Guy's actor, which is also the director of the movie, was really good in this. It's so unintentionally funny when Mike says, "This can't be real," and the hallucinations flash on the screen with big text saying it's real. It's a neat reference to the games, but isn't something that translates really well on the big screen. The montage goes really hard, and there's a lot of cool lighting and shots. And body waddling is just so funny. And after the montage, another power outage happens. And this time, Freddy's mouth and eyes glow like when you lose power in FNAF 1, which is really, really cool. And this scene is just really cool in general. This leads to a really genuinely disturbing scene of him getting dragged to his death. Or at least it would have been disturbing if the animatronic endo parts weren't so obviously edited in. Like, I understand the really small budget, but we could have just gone without him. Like, you could have worn like black underneath the animatronic suits, and it would have been fine in my opinion. Foxy looks great though, I will say. Not much happens during the daylight scene after this night, which is something I wish we got more of. Same with Afton scenes. Night 5. Oh, there you go. That's the title of the movie. Roll credits, man. Mike starts the night by going absolutely crazy trying to find the source of the noise from the tape, in an admittedly cringy but cool scene. And then Mike finds the secret door, which is a really sick payoff that, like I said, I did not see coming at all first time viewing this. And him finding Shadow Freddy is just something I did not expect at all, but is really, really cool. And it's a really neat reference. Which at first I actually thought it was referencing the Silver Eyes graphic novel, where this dude was trapped inside a blue Springlock animatronic suit. But I got corrected after watching the behind the scenes and director's commentary, which you should totally do if you haven't already. Boom, intro shot. Pretty cool, but like, why would Mike do this? Like, just book it, dude. Just like run out of the pizzeria with the body. You don't gotta do this. But then it leads to a really badass Golden Freddy scene which could have been really cheesy, but I think they pulled it off really well, and it's probably the best scene in the whole movie. The flashback was really sick, and I just really love this scene. It really hit for me. Mike dragging this like limp, lifeless corpse is just really sus. It's just really funny. And then he bumps into William, which I guess was waiting outside for him. The William scene has really cool dialogue at times, especially William's monologue, but the acting really brings it down.
Breathing, and as annoying as ever! Annoying as ever! I've already tried killing you once. Now get the out of here before I try doing it again.
And damn, William just dropped an F-bomb? That caught me so off guard first time viewing it. They predicted the Alright, now for the final day scene. It cuts to Mike in the hospital with Jonathan's mom in a pretty cringy scene, but then he like realizes he has to like free the souls, I think. It's not really made clear, but he goes back to the pizzeria. And Henry's such a dick here. I did not expect him to cover for William like that, because they're like enemies, right? It's like so out of character. Everyone blaming Mike here is unrealistic to me. But it does look like the daytime guard kind of believes him later on, so cool. And Henry gaslighting Mike is just so funny.
This is a secret room. It's a door.
Michael, that's a wall. No, that's just a wall.
No. It's a secret room.
If either of you ever mention what you've heard or seen today outside of these walls, I'll sue both of you for defamation.
Now we're back at the hospital, and this scene is pretty cringe and sometimes unwatchable for me, but it's a scene that needed to happen in order to make the movie make sense, so whatever. I really like the ending shot with Mike visiting his brother's tomb. It really brings closure to Mike's character arc here. I really hated the scene of Golden Freddy visiting Mike in the graveyard, but it's grown on me a lot and I really like it now. We're not used to seeing these animatronics in broad daylight, and Fredbear's pretty well made, besides those really weird big cheeks. And that's how the movie ends. I really admire this movie and the people behind it. It comes to show how dedicated and talented the Five Nights at Freddy's fan base can be, and especially to a game that's almost 10 years old. This movie got me really hyped for the actual FNAF movie, and I'm really glad they stuck to the actual game lore. They even mentioned the fact that Mike is scooped from a sister location. Wow. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's something that I don't usually do, and again, I'm still learning how to write these scripts, so of course this video is like really messy, so forgive me for that, but stay tuned for more FNAF content. And subscribe to XBlue if you haven't already, and check out Night 5 for yourself. It's free to watch on YouTube.